Your alternative talk radio contact. The Planet. KGRAradio.com.
With infinite complacence, people went to and fro over the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over this small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space.
I was born and raised in Augusta, Georgia, which is the furthest navigable point up the Savannah River. It's the second city founded in Georgia. And it is in a river basin. And from everything, I went to the University of Georgia. I majored in history and anthropology. I didn't want to be a teacher or a doctor. I went to culinary school. I can cook you a mean meal, but I'm a people person as well. So when I was a kid, my dad's hobbies. My dad was a big hunter. My uncle was a big hunter, and so when I was born, I was a trailer baby. I lived in a trailer on my great grandparents' land in a little place called Gracewood, Georgia, which is South Richmond County. You can look on the map. We're right there on the Savannah River, and I can remember, we go rabbit hunting and squirrel hunting all the time. And it evolved into my dad's hobbies became my jobs. And so I got to go deer hunting, but I got to build the deer stands. And he'd put me up in trees and he'd go and walk off and do his thing. And our thing was, don't move, don't say anything, I'll whistle for you, don't get down out of the tree. Well, I hear him whistle for me from time to time. Like I said, I just started putting stuff together. I hear him whistle for me, and I'm like, what's he doing coming to get me now? And I was always raised to not be scared. He said, son, you're the baddest thing in the woods. You got a gun. So I was fearless. I'd go anywhere. I've heard bobcats scream. I've heard foxes scream. I know what a barred owl sounds like. And I guess it was around, I was probably 10 or 11. So it was 77 or 78 when I had something look around a cedar tree at me and I shot at it. I don't know what the hell it was. I didn't say anything. I just said I shot at a deer and missed because I didn't know what I shot at.
How can you describe it at all?
It was dark, and I was shooting. I didn't have a scope on my rifle. I was shooting through iron sights. It was about 75 yards away. I was shooting a Marlin 30-30, and it was a face, and it scared me. It scared the shit out of me.
So it was a face, but you knew it wasn't a person.
Absolutely not, because it had been doing it.
Yeah.
And I'd sat there and I was like, the quickest way to have some corporal punishment brought down on you at my house was to play with a firearm and to take a shot. And by this time I'd been in the woods 4 or 5 years, and I had been charged by a possum before and shot that, and called hell about shooting a possum, but he was coming right at me.
Those are terrifying, though. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, well, I was sitting on the ground on a stool, and it comes at me, and I shot it with a 16 gauge shotgun. Well, this thing, this is just something this is not even the one that, it was a face, and it was like a shoulder and an arm, and I'm pretty sure, I'm positive I missed. But I never ever saw a deer at that hunting club again, ever. My old man shot deer. My uncle shot deer. Everybody else shot deer. Not me. This was in Lincoln County, in Lincolnton, Georgia, which is like close to a lake. It's now called Strom Thurmond, but it's Clarksville Lake. I've in the past couple of years been listening, and there's been sightings up through there, and there's always the odd tree falling in the woods that you didn't think anything about that. There's no in that time. There's Bigfoot lived out west, and everybody knew about the $6 million man Bigfoot. And at that point, I'd seen the Patterson Gimlin film, and I remember being terrified of the Legend of Boggy Creek. But that's when the old man's like, "Son, what are you scared of?
Right.
You got a gun. You don't need to be scared of anything. So you don't need to be scared of the dark. You don't need to be scared to go outside. This is you are the predator. You're the apex predator in the woods." And no, we're not. We're not at all. The reason the old man got into deer hunting is we think about this in the early 70s. The deer population was almost wiped out in Georgia. It was people would hunt for years without seeing deer. We hunted rabbits, and when I say we hunted rabbits, we had about 25 to 40 beagles at any given time. We lived out in the country at this point. We go hunting, and when we go hunting, my dad's a mechanical contractor, and Friday afternoon we'd roll around, we get ready to go, and wake up at the crack of dawn Saturday morning, and we'd go and hunt all day, come home Saturday night, and go hunt all day Sunday. We started losing dogs, and my dogs are my children, and I learned that growing up. I'm part beagle right now. It's just one of those things where beagles will stop and say hello to me because they know that, hey, I know that guy. But it got to the point where pretty much every time we go hunting, we'd lose a dog. And they're like, "Oh, well, they're just jumping up and running deer." Mm. And, well, that's what I thought. But now I think maybe somebody put them on the menu. So Pop, like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. So as the dogs got older and died out, we had just a couple. We stopped rabbit hunting, also because of the way that the habitat was being built all over around Augusta and Waynesboro and where we are. The farming practices changed. There's no hedgerows. We used to be able to go shoot quail in the backyard, but that doesn't happen anymore. And when I talk about growing up in Augusta and living out in the country, you'd be in the car in 10 minutes. You're in the city. Mm-hmm. It's the second largest metropolitan area in Georgia, but there's also Fort Gordon, which is the signal communications headquarters for the United States military. And during the Vietnam War, it was a site where they did advanced infantry training and all that. So it's a booming industry out there. There's always people out there. And I've got some interesting stories about that I'll get to. But so we started hunting. We started hunting in Lincoln County. And this went on. And after I took a shot at that thing, I was like, I don't know, Pop. I just don't really want to go hunt anymore. I didn't have any choice. I had to go anyway. So at that point,
because you didn't tell him, you just said you took a shot at a deer. Yeah.
I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him I saw it. He said, because if I said I saw a face and a shoulder and an arm, mm-hmm. and I shot at it, I got my ass whipped.
Right, because he would have thought you were shooting at a person.
Yeah, it's like, son,
Bigfoot
the first
wasn't
thing
on
you
his
need
radar.
to be sure of. No, not at all. Well, maybe it was, and he didn't say anything to me.
Right.
But I didn't know that. I just knew that we'd stopped hunting rabbits and started hunting deer. And this, and this is perfect. Cedar trees. You always hear about them being around cedar trees. There's a damn swamp down below there. And, it was for the way that the cedar tree was where I went, and I didn't walk down and look, but when he came, I looked over there, and it's probably about 7 feet tall. And, it's hard red clay. Never really saw any footprints, but Jesus Christ, I didn't go looking. I was scared to death.
Yeah, you were so little then, right? I
was 10. Yeah,
you weren't.
So,
yeah.
I was 10 or 11. I blocked that out. I pretty much blocked that out until I was riding in the car listening to YouTube. And the story that brought it all up is, all right, so we flash forward, and we pretty much stopped deer hunting. We moved down to another hunting club, which is down south of Augusta in like Blythe is the name of the community. It's a little unincorporated area, which is closer to the Savannah River, but it also bordered Fort Gordon, which I believe there's a population that lives on Fort Gordon right now because they have, it's a military reservation. It's got to be over 15,000 acres. It's a restricted area. They have long range firing ranges. It was like I said, they did advanced infantry training, and it was the home of the MPs for a long time. And I've connected with a buddy through all of this here recently that he does a sniper challenge. He's a wounded warrior. And they bring veterans out and they do what they call rucking and long range shooting. And they corral all these guys up at night so they won't cheat and reconnoiter the course to get an edge in competition. And he's gotten calls from MPs going, "Hey, you got any guys out?" Like, no, they're all in the lounge. You know, everybody's accounted for. We took a head count. He goes, "You don't have any guys in ghillie suits out there running around?"
Oh, wow.
He's like, no, I don't. And he's seen one. I'd like to hook you up with him, but I know he's seen one. But all right, so we moved down south Augusta, and by this time I'm like, I don't hunt. I'm not hunting. Dad's going hunting during the week, and I discovered girls. And it's like, you want to go sit in a tree, or you want to go sit in the car with a girl? You know. And I'm like, I want to go sit in the car with a girl.
Yeah, I think I'll be over here, Dad. Enjoy your time.
Yeah. It's like, I've had enough of this father-son bonding. But at this point, my old man and I started about getting along anyway. It happens when you turn 16 or 17. But he'd come get me out of school to clean deer still. So that's where I'm an excellent butcher. So he's joined this club, and he slowly but surely stops hunting. And I'm not thoroughly convinced that something hadn't happened to him, because he lived and breathed it for a long time. And I mean, just to quit. And I mean, when I'm going to Augusta this weekend to see him, I'll take a picture of all the deer heads that I've dressed. And I mean, my dad was a trophy hunter, and he just stopped. But he's also 76 years old, so you know, who knows what he saw. He's not going to come off of that with me, because that would be a sign of weakness to him, I guess.
Right.
Or I'm not crazy. You know, I'm not crazy either. I know what I saw. But the experience that really jogged it all is, I still hunted from time to time. I had some buddies that I grew up with, that their families had land, and I was hunting outside of the town of Waynesboro, Georgia. And it's Susie Bailey Road. The hunting club was off of Susie Bailey Road, and we'd been down there, and we'd fish, and we caught tons of bass, these great big bass, and you'd hear slaps on the water. I've never seen any beaver. They're there now. They weren't there then. And it's like, okay, they wanted us to get the heck out of there. I mean, we would go down, drive the country roads at night, just out doing what we were doing in cars with girls. And, you know, I'll never forget crossing bridges, and with the windows rolled down, you know, God damn, somebody hit a skunk. You know what? Like I said, I grew up in the woods. I've never seen a skunk in a gun. We're hunting, and I'd gone down by myself. Waylon's like, go down. And, you know, like I said, this is 10, 15 years, probably about 13 years after the initial me shooting at the face. And we'd been hunting this place, and I was like, I just want to kill a deer. It took me going to the other side of the state to finally kill one, but I was like, I just want to kill a deer. And so we drive in, and this place, it's been in his family since the 1700s. It was a king's land grant from King George III, which it's probably about 1,500 acres that had been gotten smaller and smaller as they sold pieces here and there. Classic story of one brother went north and one brother went south, and the brother that went north got to keep it, and so it's still in his family.
Right.
And there's nothing's ever been out there, and there's a power line that goes through it. And this features into the story. And I was like, I was walking down to the swamp where I hunted, and we built stands. And, you know, we'd go into the woods every now and then, and it wasn't like I was living in the woods anymore. And the stand would be torn up. Like, tree limb fell down on it. It was windy. Something like that. I didn't think anything about it. So it is an afternoon, because at this point I realized I didn't like hunting in the morning. I didn't like getting up at dark to go sit in a cold tree. So I went by myself. He was going to meet me down there. And I parked, and I'm wearing it's a full face mask. They've just come out. They look like tree leaves all over the mask. And I was walking down to go sit in the swamp. As I'm walking down the power line, I come up, and then it's this perfect ambush blind.
Right, what was that? It sounded a little muffled. What did you come up with?
An ambush, like a blind.
Oh, okay,
like
a blind.
Okay. Like an ambush, like a blind. And the wind was blowing in my face, and I was like, this looks great. I'm not going to get in the stand. I can see up and down this whole power line. I sit down, leaning up against a tree. I'm in camouflage, head to toe. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, I hear, it was a, I don't know if I got zapped. I'll tell you one thing, I pissed my pants, and I can show you the fingernail prints of my gun. If I saw it, I don't remember. I don't remember how I got back to the truck, but what I do remember is my buddy coming and going, "Are you okay? What the hell is going on?" Because I had puked. I was back in the truck. I still had a round in my rifle. I was still in wet pants, and I puked all down the side of my car. And honestly, that was the last time I went deer hunting. That was 1991.
So wow. So you actually did urinate on yourself while you were still there?
Yeah.
Like right when it was going on. And then
when it happened, I froze up and locked up so hard that I was sore for 2 days.
Mm.
The muscle clench that I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I don't know if, I do believe in infrared. Like I said, I know big cats use that and all that. And this is the stuff that I've researched along the way. I don't know what happened, but I blacked the fuck out. Excuse me for cussing.
No, you're fine.
But I blacked out. I mean, I don't. I mean, and I was sick. I mean, I was sick. You been drinking? No, I hadn't been drinking. What's wrong? I don't know. Maybe I ate something bad. I didn't tell him.
You didn't say anything,
once again. No, of course not. I mean, I'm 22 years old. Like, look at this dumbass.
Right.
But I literally had not thought about that until about 2016 in the advent of the internet. I mean, it's just one of those things where I don't even really fish anymore. I'll go bird hunting, but I own a boat. I'll go deep sea fishing, which we do. But
you're safe until you see one swimming under your boat in the water. Then you can't fish anymore either.
Well, exactly. Well, then but that's what you start. You're thinking about that, and you're damn right. If that would happen, I would. I mean, if it did that to me when I drowned.
Then you're like, you're gonna take fishing away from me too, you bastards.
Son of a bitch! I just cook now.
How close do you think that thing was to you?
It was standing right next to me.
Mm.
It had to be. It was right behind me, and I think if it wanted to have gotten me, it could have gotten me. I put two and two together, and the way that the wind was blowing, the wind was in my face, and he came in upwind to me. I didn't smell anything. I'm saying it could have been it, whatever it is, but it couldn't, because, and I'm guessing because the way that I was dressed in camouflage, and we were serious about it. I kept all my hunting clothes in a bag with leaves and stuff in it. And when I got out of the car, no smoking, no chewing tobacco, none of that stuff. We're pretty serious about that. It couldn't figure out. It knew I was there. It couldn't figure out where I was.
So you
It wasn't
probably
like I
just
was-
walked right up on it, and it probably just
Yeah.
watched you walk in, and then he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, really? You think you're gonna sit
What the
here?"
hell is this guy? Yeah. What is like? No, not only is it bad enough that you're in my woods all the time. Now you're gonna go where I'm hunting, and it's perfect time of day. It was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It starts getting dark. Here it is roughly this time of year. It starts getting dark about 4:45, and that's when we shoot deer. It's around 4:45, and I mean it was a perfect place to hunt. That's why I was like, damn, I'm gonna try this out. You know, it didn't even click. You know, I thought it's like, you know, somebody else, because the thing is, we had another guy. Everybody always knows this one jackass who, if you take him hunting on your spot, he's going to come back and shoot deer. And he complained about this guy a lot. I'm never hunting with him again. There's no deer. There's no deer out there. He's come in and killed all the deer. Well, there's no one guy that can kill all the deer. You know?
Now, what about the time frame, or, you know, maybe there was really nothing. Maybe it was a very quick blackout. But did you actually lay there for a couple of minutes or longer?
I laid there probably about 30 minutes or so.
Oh, my gosh. Do you wonder if it was, you know, standing right there and watching and waiting for you to leave?
I'm sure it was standing right there laughing its ass off. I passed out and pissed in my pants.
Oh, God.
I guess he's not coming back here anymore.
Well,
But,
you gave him a great story. You know, he
Indeed.
went back and told his Bigfoot friends, "Man, you should have seen the one that I got today."
You should have seen this jackass. Yeah, you should have seen this jackass. He came down and like, not only did he drive down into here, and at least I wasn't in a car. You know,
Right.
I didn't drive up in a sedan. So,
Man card pulled, yeah.
yeah. So it's like some guy in a Toyota. We just scared the hell out of him.
Yeah.
But
Pulled up in a Prius. Not that they were around back then, but still.
yeah,
You know.
no, not at all.
No
Yeah,
offense to people that drive Priuses. Sorry.
It's exactly.
Just
Not
came
that
up-
there's anything wrong with that.
Came up in my mind, as flashed in my head. So, okay, that is really freaky to think about, though. I mean, honest to God, we're laughing about it, but that is effing
That's
terrifying.
Nervous laughter. It's scary. I mean, honestly, I can tell you, I've been deer hunting twice since then. And both times I've been with someone else, and I've driven an ATV up to a blind and back.
And that's to announce your presence, right? I mean, that's to
to
say,
make sure, yeah. Oh,
hey,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
hey, big boys, I'm
that's
coming
fine.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're there, I'm there. But it's different. These are both different places. And, you know, I've been offered the chance. And it's like, you know, anytime you want to go down there, it's like, why don't you want to go? You don't go out anymore. Like, no, you still got your rifle? Yeah. You want to sell it? Nope. I might need it one day. But
Yeah.
I mean, I like I said, I don't even freshwater fish anymore. And
that's because you would have to go down to
I
a
mean,
stream and kind of be standing, you know, near the woods and maybe a place that you couldn't see around you very well.
That's correct. I mean, the place I was telling you about in South Richmond County, we could go creek fishing, and you take a cane pole and walk down the Sandy Run Creek and catch red belly brim all day long. It's just close to the Augusta River, which all of that is drainage into the Savannah River.
Mm-hmm.
And across the Savannah River from right close to where we're hunting is the Savannah River site. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but that is where they produce tritium and plutonium for the atomic bombs that we made. And it's 25,000+ acres that are patrolled by the Department of Energy. They moved the town of Ellington, South Carolina out of there, and there's a new town called New Ellington. And they're decommissioning all that. My dad being a mechanical contractor, I got to go see all of that. That's crazy stuff in its own right there. You ever seen a 3-headed snake?
No, I think the ones with one head is quite enough, you know?
Yeah, I'm not a snake fan at all, but we had the maintenance contract for the Savannah River Ecology Lab, and that was staffed by the University of Georgia Biology Department as well as the University of South Carolina and Clemson Biology Departments. And they studied long-term exposure to radiation on all the animals around there. There's a movie called Building Bombs that you ought to check out. And it's about all that. My grandfather worked there for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And
did he have any negative health effects, or did they protect the workers quite well?
No. We think about this. This was a Cold War. I mean, this is the height of the Cold War when all this is going on. This is, I mean, up until probably 95 or 96, it was scary shit to drive through there at night. I've seen the biggest feral hogs I've ever seen in my life stand on the side of the road.
Oh, man.
But you couldn't get out of your car. You pulled in, and they gave you a timestamp ticket, and they knew exactly how long it took you to get from point A to point B, because they were making plutonium and tritium. So we floated down the Savannah River, and there could be anything under the sun living in those woods. So, and my uncle still doesn't understand. Why don't you want to go to the river and go fishing with us?
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine if something as bad to the bone already, just baseline as a Bigfoot, would have some sort of special ability? Yeah, just some added something. Oh my goodness!
Super irradiated Bigfoot eye.
Oh, super soldier out there.
Boogers in the world.
Oh my gosh!
The scariest boogers in the world. But yeah, I mean,
it's just very interesting that obviously you saw that as a good hunting spot, and it did too. And we've heard of them using these kind of clear-cut areas around power lines because it makes sense. I mean, why walk through thick, thorny brush if you don't have to?
Exactly. And I mean, they're ambush hunters. From everything, like I said, I took my fair share of anthropology classes in college, and I also grew up in the woods. I mean, my grandfather's one was from the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, and my mom's dad is from up in North Georgia, where he's one of those guys that when World War II broke out, he had a deferment, but he gave it up because he figured he could eat better. He gained weight. So, I grew up in the woods. I grew up hunting and fishing and eating what, but the other rule besides playing around with a gun was, if you shot it, you had to eat it. Period.
I mean, when you woke up from being hit with this infrasound is what, I mean, I would assume that was too. Did you immediately go, holy shit, that was a Bigfoot, I got to get out of here? Like that instantly flashed in your mind because you heard the chatter and then you had this all go on?
I heard the chatter. Literally I seized up, and the last thing I remember is hearing the chatter, and then the next thing I remember is my buddy coming up, well, what the hell's wrong with you? I thought you were in the stand. So it wasn't chatter. It was yelling at me. Yeah,
you're like, chatter would have been very pleasant compared to what I heard.
I've heard the Sierra sounds, and it wasn't. It was angry, and there's a guy that was on. I don't know if I can't remember if it might have been Vic Cundiff, but he did the same that, and that's kind of when I went, holy shit. That's what it was. Because I just something you really don't talk about down here.
But you had no urge to tell your friend what happened.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to go home. I said, I am going to sit here for a few minutes, and I am going home. And I went home. And I didn't tell anybody about it. I told my wife a couple of years ago, and she looked at me like I was crazy.
She did.
Mm-hmm.
Did she offer any other explanations?
No. She doesn't know. No, that's not real. And she gives me a hard time about it all the time. But that's okay. I know.
There you go, hearing a hillbilly in the woods screaming at you, and you just pissed your pants again, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Some, there's not so much hillbillies down there. We like to just call them rednecks.
It's a loving term. All of those are loving terms. Yeah,
there are. Well, there's rednecks all over this world. I mean,
absolutely.
I've run into rednecks in Turkey. I've run into rednecks.
That's right.
Jesus Christ! England and Scotland invented them. So
and now
it's nice to be able to talk to somebody.
People,
I feel a lot better. I don't know if you can tell, but
That's good. No,
I'm
I'm very glad. It can be. I know it's not the easiest thing to do. I say it every single time. It's really tough to actually get it out, but I do find most of the time that once people do, they're like, I feel so much lighter and better, and it just felt good to say it. I didn't know anything. I just want to tell everybody, I didn't know anything before I hopped on the call with him, so I didn't know any of those details, or I just knew that you had told me something happened when you were around the age of 21 that got you to stop hunting, and I was like, I wonder what, and now I know, and I cannot blame you. There was an episode very early on Into the Fray. I don't know if you got a chance to hear it. There's a lot of episodes now. So, but Boundaries Crossed was very early on. Maybe, I think it was, God, I'm the worst. 6 or 8. Damn it, I can forward it to you. But he had a very close encounter with several of them where he had gone into an area that he shouldn't have gone. And but his wasn't so much, and I keep saying chatter just because you use these vowel, and consonant sounds, but his was more just screams. But the proximity of it was what was really terrifying to him. Now, this is probably just such a stupid question, but I have to ask because I'm just wondering.
No such thing as one of those.
Well, you're laying there for maybe up to 30 minutes, you said, passed out. Now, besides the fact that you pissed your pants and you had gotten screamed at and you felt sick and horrible, was anything out of place? Did you fall over with your gun, across your chest, and was anything moved or, you know what I mean?
Fortunately, nothing was moved. Fortunately, I was leaning up against a tree. So,
you just conked out right there.
Okay. After I, when I passed out, apparently I had let go of it and it was lying across my lap with the safety still on and around in the chamber.
I guess the Bigfoot figured he didn't really need to disarm you because he had taken care of business pretty well.
Pretty much knew that yeah, he most certainly did. He most certainly did.
How long did you feel sick for, or abnormal?
Probably the rest of that afternoon and evening. I mean, I went home and went to bed. Took a shower, changed clothes, went to bed. I got are you okay? Why aren't you going out? And, it's Saturday night. No, I'm good. I'm just gonna stay home.
Yeah, because you're a 21-year-old kid just having the time of your life, and you're like, Saturday night, nope, bedtime.
Yeah, exactly. And home, and then, it's scary. And in those screams, I've heard those in the woods. I always just thought it was a bobcat, or a fox, because they make the same noises. And, it just, like I said, you start putting 2 and 2 together, and it's like, how close have I actually, besides that one time, been to them and never known?
Right.
I didn't smell anything. I've smelled the smell before, but once again, that's a skunk. I've never seen a skunk in the wild. Right? I mean, we're just now, we're getting armadillos and coyotes. Back then, we didn't have armadillos and coyotes down there. And it was agricultural, but the way that it had been managed, we barely had any quail. Those are just making a comeback. We certainly didn't have any wild turkeys.
So that area around Fort Gordon, how far?
Yeah.
What is that to where you? I know there's large swaths of land in Georgia, but what's the proximity there?
Probably 20 miles, 15 miles.
Oh, that's nothing.
No, not for them.
No.
And you talk to some of these guys that I've become friends with. We grew up in Armytown. I've lived away from Augusta longer than I lived there. But you talk to these guys and they use infantry tactics, cover and concealment. They're following the easiest ingress and egress wherever they can go. What are those? Power lines, creek bottoms. So there's something out there, and I believe that there are a lot more people that know about it than are letting on. And I'm talking about up and down from the Department of Natural Resources, Department of Energy, because there's people in the woods all the time. And what would happen if you came out with a large, I don't even know what it is, a relic hominin? Is it an ape? Is it the missing link? Or are we the missing link? But if that came out what would it do to the industry of camping, hunting, logging? I mean, there's paper plantations all over around down there. Farming. It shut all that stuff down. Look what happened with the spotted owl.
Yeah.
In Washington State. You know, I think that was a test run just to see how it happened. They pretty much successfully killed off the logging business in Washington State with that, didn't they?
Yeah. I fully believe that money would be a huge factor behind not ever letting this out if the government knows all about these things and that they're out there.
Then, you know, you're not taken seriously, and you put if you have somebody who's a real academician come out and say this, look what happens to them. You get ripped to shreds. Their credibility is just, it's gone. Yeah, I have listened to a good bit of Dr. Bindernagel stuff, and he went about it with a scientific method. You know, and props to him. He didn't care what anybody thought. He was on to something. He knows what he saw too. So I don't have any letters behind my name. I'm just a salesman.
Yeah, but you have stuff everybody's got something to lose, even if it's just some of your pride, and your ego is bruised.
I just don't want to listen to it. You know, I let it slip the other day. You know, I let it slip one night. You know, I do have a buddy that believes me, who grew up in North Carolina, and you know, he said something, and I wanted to be a smart ass at the bar about it. I'm like, man, I told you, if you're not going to take it seriously, I don't want to talk about it.
You told him
don't want to talk about it.
About your early encounter and the one when you were 21?
Just one when I was 21.
What did he say?
My friend believed me. I mean, he's like, why would you make something like that up? Mm-hmm. But, you know, we were talking, and he's like, well, so-and-so says you're into Bigfoot. I was like, I don't necessarily say I'm into Bigfoot. And, you know, it's just a couple of smart-ass remarks made. I was like, look, I didn't bring this up. You brought it up. You bring it up. Are you going to bring it up and try and call me out? I was like, we can talk about your Tesla if you want to. You know, how's that working? Yeah, everybody in California's moving to Teslas. Yet you know what? They don't have any electricity.
Yeah.
You know, in here in Georgia, you know where the energy comes from? Coal.
We need that. We need that coal-powered Tesla here pretty soon. You know.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. No, that's where the electricity for the Teslas that he's plugging in is coming from. It's coal. It's a bigger carbon footprint than a regular car.
We need it just like the DeLorean, where we just put all of our scraps and the banana peels into the flux capacitor. You know. You know that is out there. That shit exists. I know that it does, but there's money in it.
Yeah. No, there's absolutely not. Well, there's, you know, I'm sure that there's the water-based fuel cells that have been put the kibosh on because the petrodollar keeps it rolling.
I've been, it recently came up in one of the reviews for the show that I ask far too many questions, but by God, it's just who I am. So I have another one for you about the second encounter.
Yeah.
Do you wish you would have seen it?
You know, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think if I'd have seen it, I would be living in a flat somewhere in New York City or London. I mean, it scared me. It scared me. It really, really, really scared me. It hit that reptilian core, right down there. You know, right there next to your calcified pineal gland. And it really shook me. And I think if I saw a monster, which, I mean, what else? How else are you going to describe it?
Right.
No, I don't think I would have wanted to see it at all. And I'm certainly not going to go out looking for them.
So you've gone out twice since then, all those years ago. Twice more deer hunting, but never again alone. No. And you make sure to ride up to the deer stand on an ATV, which is probably something that your dad would just have a heart attack about and scoff at. Like, what the hell, dude? You got to go in there quiet. But that's the point.
We walked it. Yeah, we would walk in. We'd park at a certain point. And walk in, you know, anywhere from a mile to a mile and a half in, and that's why it was handy dandy to have me around because I could drag them out.
Right.
Yeah. And, the dinner bell, the whole dinner bell theory, back in the day, you hear a gunshot, there's going to be at least a gut pile.
Yeah.
Or, and we've shot pigs before, not been able to find them, following the blood and just, that's part of being an ethical hunter.
Yeah.
If you shoot it, you go find it. Well, sometimes we didn't find it. And once again, like I said, I don't think anything about that till later. Hindsight's very, very 2020.
No, it's an honest answer, and I figured that probably was going to be what you said, but. Yeah.
I like to say I'm not scared of anything, but there are a couple of things I'm scared of. That's one of them.
I think rightfully so. We're not the top of the old badass in the woods chain there.
You sit there with a pistol and a knife and a rifle. Like, what's going to get me? Well, that's the thing.
You get to take a little nappy now. 9-9.
Exactly. 99. Wake up with your dirty britches, son.
You can bill me later for the laundry, okay?
Exactly. I just don't want to see you again. And you're right, I think about that. I bet that thing was just laughing. Oh, they wouldn't let his pants today.
Isn't that something, though? I mean, because people go, well, I don't think specifically this story, but if you just say, well, I heard something and it kind of made me pass out in a weird way and it terrified me and I didn't go back into the woods for years and years and years. People go, oh, I don't get it. You didn't see anything. Well, that's bullshit, because if you really, really think about what went on there, it is really scary.
It scared the hell out of me.
You were extremely vulnerable, too. I mean, when you really think about how long you were laying there, I mean, like you said, he could have ripped you to bits or drug you back to the cave. Or
I could have been the guy that he went hunting. We found his gun, but we never found him.
Right.
And that happens. That happens down there. I mean, there's swamps all down there. It's like, there's all kinds of stuff that can happen to you down there in those swamps, and you just don't know.
How much swampland is there around that area?
Tons. I mean, acres and acres. Honestly, if you float down the Savannah River, there is nothing between Augusta and Savannah but farmland on either side of that river. They're little tiny towns. There's Plant Vogel, which is a nuclear power plant in Sylvania, or Sardis, Girard. But those are tiny little towns. It's the Dismal Swamp. I mean, it's primordial forest down there.
Well, they certainly have plenty of food too, even if some of
Absolutely.
it is slightly radioactive, huh?
Well, just downstream.
Yeah. Hopefully they know better, right? Hopefully they know where the boundaries are. Like, I shouldn't eat them hogs.
I had buddies that went to school, that worked over there. I said, what'd you do at work today? So I dumped Tritium in the river. Don't worry about it in the house.
No worries.
No jokes at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty much in a nutshell. I've got buddies here. I live, West Georgia's a lot closer, about equidistant between both places. And I've got a buddy that lives over close to Alabama that, come go hunting, and he's just moved into a new place. And last week he's like, man, I heard some weird screams coming up from the pasture, and I haven't seen any deer tracks around here, and the dogs are starting to go ape shit in the middle of the night. And if you look around, it's like he's living right in the middle of a highway of where they live. And it's like, it's not like I'm looking for it; it's finding me now.
So I imagine you're not trying to raise your hand and say, hey, I'll go and camp in the back of your property and see what's out there for you.
Not at all. Not at all. I was like, you want to go out there in the daytime? I'll come shoot with you all day long. We'll go out there, we'll bring a couple of buddies, and we'll have a good time. But you need to be careful out there is all I tell him. And he's like, he doesn't believe me. He laughs. I was like, I'm telling you, you got squatches out there, man.
So he's just like, nah, that's not.
No, not at all. And, well, I'm waiting for that phone call. You were right. You were right.
How many of you guys' dogs went missing over those years?
Probably. They're at a point we were losing a couple of months during the hunting season, if not more.
And you guys would try to kind of find them? Or...
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many hours that I've spent walking through the woods calling dogs names. I mean, we would load up dog boxes, and we had teams of dogs, and we'd run them until they'd get tired and load them up. And it's like, oh, well, hell, Ben's not here. Jack hasn't made it back. Let's go. And they all had collars. They all had brass tags stamped onto the collars, nothing to get hung. And we would occasionally, we'd find one. And it was something that had jumped up and chased off a deer. And beagles are slaves to their nose. They're going to, they hit a scent trail. But just too many to be wandering off.
So you mean...
Beagles also know where the food comes from.
You mean found one as far as it was just hell and gone from where you were, it was fine? It was just kind of out of range, out of audio range?
Yeah. Out of audio range, or it'd get lost, and 2 days later we'd get a call from somebody, or when we went back to find them, they'd be back where the truck was. They're smart. They're smart too. They knew where the food comes from, but it was the oddity to have that happen as opposed to the norm.
Right.
And that's, to give it up, something like that. Because I'd love. I can't tell you how many times I went coon hunting in the middle of the night with dogs in the swamp with a shotgun or a 22.
Boy, I bet you wouldn't do that today.
I'm not doing that today. I'm not doing that today.
Oh man, with a 22.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't. Carry it was 22 pistol, not even 22 rifle.
Yeah. So, yeah. What could you do with that against King Kong out there?
Shoot yourself in the head and get it over with.
Find that perfect place where the 22 would actually get it done.
No, yeah, no, I'm not going to be torn. I'm not going to be torn limb from limb. I'll make it easy for you.
You don't want to be wrapped into a bow around a tree, do you?
No, not at all. Or broken in half.
You want to be one with the cedars? Yeah.
They remember the Far Side commercial with the two crocodiles. The Far Side cartoon with the two crocodiles lying up on the bank going, "It was incredible. No fangs, no fur, no scales, just soft and pink."
Far Side's my favorite thing. I have all the galleries, all the books that have every single... Do you? Aren't those fantastic?
Yeah.
And the prehistory?
It's just some of the best stuff in the world. Or that one, or it's like, thank God those bugs finally shut up. These guys standing around a fire and two giant legs.
One of my favorite ones. I had it as a background on my computer, and then I have it actually hanging up in my... I got a calendar one year, and I ripped it out. I defaced the calendar because I had to hang it up. But it's two spiders at a playground, and at the bottom of a slide, they had strung a web up, and it says, whatever the name of the spider was the opposite one. It says, "If this works, we're going to eat like kings." Just thinking of a process that an animal might want to go through to do that is hilarious.
That is good stuff.
Gary Larson is just the man.
I love that. Or the two great white sharks. It's like, it's going to be one. You think it's going to be one of those days, and then that smell hits the water. Blood.
Yeah, his animal stuff has got to be some of the best. The bug parties or the cows, they're all standing up talking on two legs, and then they're like, "Car!" and then they all drop down on four. Yeah. So that Fort Gordon, that's very interesting. And if you could, it's a shot in the dark. It always is, and I'm lucky enough just to be talking to you. But if your friend would ever want to talk to me about what had gone on there, that would be incredible.
It really, I think that there's a lot. There's a lot of activity going on military bases because of the restricted access.
Right.
And I'm going to try and hook up with him here soon, and I'll pass it along.
Thank you.
And mention it to him.
Yeah, he can just send me an email and
he's a little
just
more
see if
vocal
he's
about
interested.
it than me. Yeah,
oh, really?
But he's a little more vocal about it than me, and he doesn't give as much of a shit anymore. So, I would love for him to talk to you because I still want to talk to him myself, just because, hell, I took college classes out there in the summer.
Boy, you got a hell of an education in the woods there that day, though.
Yes, ma'am, I did. But I like I said, I fish. I fish, and I cook.
I mean, the reason I brought up the swimming thing is it's come up before, but there have been reports of, people seeing them off big boats, off of ferries in Seattle, in Puget Sound. And plus, Will Jevning told us a story one time on Sasquatch Chronicles of a guy that was in a canoe, on a decent-sized river and saw an auburn-colored Bigfoot swimming, basically froggy style, underneath the boat. And I'm like,
I heard that.
Hell no.
Listened to that.
Yeah.
And then if you listen to the Mississippi and Alabama boys, they've told a couple of those stories like that too.
Yeah.
And there's one was about the cave up underneath the bank of the lake that they were thinking that they lived in. They was like getting into it like beavers, swimming underwater to get into it.
Wow. I listen after hearing your story.
I don't swim in the lake without a pair of tennis shoes on because I don't like anything touching my feet. Could you imagine?
Oh no! I just hope they let you have fishing. Just you got the woods thing taken care of, guys. Let him have his fishing.
Indeed. It's like, sure you don't want to join the hunting club? No, I'm good. I'm really good. I'll come out and hang out until dark, and then I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
I'll be here in the trailer.
But even then, I mean, it's not like maybe even hiking, and not everybody's into hiking or whatever. But your best bud goes, "Hey, I joined a hiking club, and we hike until just after dark, and we head back." You'd probably be like, "Nah, I'm all set."
No,
I mean,
no, not at all. You're right there. I mean, you're absolutely right there.
Do you think that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to say the Appalachian Trail's hop, skip, and a jump away from here. You hear about them up there all the time.
I think that I need to install some Cena Bigfoot metal cartridges so they can just write down their encounter where it was, and then we can collect those like a couple times a year. Seen a Bigfoot on the Appalachian Trail? Leave your encounter here.
Yeah, tag them. I mean the software now, you can tag them with the longitude and latitude of where you saw them.
Yeah,
just put a pin in.
A lot of people see that.
That'd be a great idea.
Trail. Now,
yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm sure you'd get your chain yanked a good bit, but if you get one or two out of it, it'd be worth it.
Absolutely. Put together a picture of how they move around there too. What if you were just out there for a stroll that day and you didn't have a gun? Do you think you would have gotten screamed at?
I don't know. I've thought about that, and sitting. I mean, you think about it. You go and you sit down where somebody's going to get a meal for their family or themselves, and they're hungry, and somebody's sitting at their spot at the table. I don't know what would happen.
Right.
I've thought about that a little bit. Like I said, if it had wanted to get me, it would have got me. And that's the thing that scares me more than anything. There would have been a damn thing I could do about it.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing.
You being out for that long is really, really terrifying, though. With it being as close
the thing that
as
gets. Yeah, I mean, the missing time.
Yeah.
Where were you? I was passed out against a tree in a pair of
just pissing my pants, hanging out, And I'm not trying to make light of you. I'm not at all.
No, honestly, this is the nerve. I understand that, but no, I mean, I did. I mean, I've that's never happened to me before.
So, again, another probably stupid question, but did you? No. And people are gonna go, "Oh my God, you're talking about the pissing the pants thing." Something flashed in my head. Was it just an emptying of the bladder because you couldn't hold it, or were you just that scared? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's kind of a.
I lost. I mean, the thing is, I clenched down so hard. It had to be. It had to be. It was involuntary. I think with me clenching down on my muscles so hard and scaring me so bad, I emptied myself. I voided myself, as they say. But fortunately, I didn't mess with pants because
Well, we had the guy on Sasquatch Chronicles that, he had his encounter, he shit himself, which, I mean, and he laughed about it too, of course, and we all kind of laughed.
The underwear changing moment. Well,
yeah.
I had one too, but I didn't shit myself. Apparently, I didn't have to.
Thankfully, you had taken care of business that morning.
Taken care of that particular point of business before I went into the woods, which, once again, you're sitting in a stand and you're passing gas. Deer can smell that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
supposed to hold everything.
Serious about this.
Yeah.
And wanted to kill the deer and was doing everything in my power to camouflage myself. And like you said, this jackass probably watched me walk up and goes, really? Sitting down in my blind. We're going to take care of that.
See how many deer you get now.
Or he didn't because the wind was blowing the wrong way.
Yeah.
And he comes and he sees this weird lump with a gun and doesn't know what it is, sitting in his blind. One way or the other, I was in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
You think most all of them know what a gun is?
I'm pretty convinced. I am pretty convinced that, generational knowledge, because it's got to be a fairly large breeding population. Mm-hmm. And since we hit the ground, there were somewhere in the early 1700s, we've always had guns with us. Guns, knives, and fire, that's civilization before ice.
Well, and they do seem to like to watch us, and just to be observant, they'd rather do that than, whereas, you're talking about a dogman encounter, it's completely different to where they're like, I don't give a shit if you see me, I'm going to puff up on you and you're going to really be terrified, you're screwed now. But
good God, those things just, those stories, that just, I couldn't imagine that.
I know. And all of them are like on the no list. But of course yours is too. I mean, if I'm being honest, I didn't know any of the details until you told them, and I'm going, that is horrible. That's a terrible, terrible situation to be in all alone.
Yeah. And I was by myself. I mean, he's like, we were going to meet up at the truck after it was done. It's like, he had to do something. And I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and go on down and I'll get situated. And that way I can sit there and be quiet, let everything calm down. And we're out in the middle of nowhere. It may seem, close to a big city, but we were in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you can look on the map where it is, and there's still nothing out there.
Mm. Great place for biggies to be.
They can stay out there.
Yeah, you're like, you won't have to tell me twice.
Yes, but, I have nothing but the utmost respect for these folks that want to go out there and look for them and like to go out and hear them walking around in the woods and throw rocks at them and all that. But, I mean, I don't even know in a big group of people if I could be comfortable enough to do that anymore. I don't know. I hate saying, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, do you feel slightly lucky because you do know? I mean, you have a pretty damn near 100% idea of what that was, but do you wish that it just wouldn't have happened at all? Because then you could have gone on blissfully unaware and just kind of been like, oh, there's a weird scream, but still been hunting.
Well, I'd heard those weird screams before, and like I said, I dismissed it. And I miss hunting. I do love being outside, but it's not nearly, I'm not, like you said, I'm not loading up and going on a hike, even if I'm with some people in the middle of the day. I do miss that. I miss that terribly. Like I said, I'll go sit in the field in the daytime and shoot birds. Or, if I've got 4 or 5 guys in a Jeep and we're riding through the woods hunting quail, I'll do that. But once again, it's got to be after daybreak and before sundown. And even that doesn't even really matter. If you think about it. They don't, I mean, if you end up in the wrong place at the wrong time, they got to sleep somewhere. They've got sentinels out. You run up on the wrong spot. And, I've heard stories of the guys that are out surveying trees and they're walking 3 or 4 abreast and one guy just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. These are the stories that, I mean, it's tough to hear because that it changed somebody's life. I mean, it changed your life. You didn't go out hunting.
It most certainly did. It most certainly did. I mean, I would have been a different person, I guess.
Yeah.
I know I would have been a different person.
I mean, you're part of an elite group of experiencers now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a knower. I do say that, and people are, I hadn't even mustered up enough guts to go to the Bigfoot Museum yet, up the road from us.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to, and I eventually will. But I got a Bigfoot on the back of my car.
You're like, that's close enough. The sticker in my car. Yeah,
he's a little. I can crush his head.
Makes me feel a little better every day. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Take a little bit of ownership in the old hairy one.
Yeah. Well, at least you can laugh about it and have a good sense of humor about it.
Well, that's what's gotten me through most everything. If you can't, you got to laugh to keep from crying. Is what the old man always said.
Yeah. It's good advice.
It is. It is. It's the best medicine as well. So we can get off the book of cliches now if you'd like.
And let that be a lesson to everybody. I mean, he comes on here, and he could have easily left out the pissing at the pants part. But to me, that is an integral part of the story, because that's why I asked, do you think it was involuntary, or you were just that scared? Because the military does, they try to utilize this basically infrasound. I forget the name of it. It's got a shortened moniker for it. Anyway, it's basically for crowd control, and it's the same idea. It's certain megahertz. This happens to a human. Yeah.
They're using it in Hong Kong right now on the protesters.
Yeah. At certain different levels, certain things will happen to a human being's body, up into organs exploding, or basically death, heart attacks, stuff like that. Really nice stuff. So if these things have the ability to do that to a certain extent, then the long-winded way of saying that was thank you for sharing everything about that encounter. I do appreciate that very much.
You have a fantastic day. I thoroughly enjoyed this. You're on my team, sister.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You have a really good day out there too.
Well, I'm so-and-so. I was given this name by my parents. I've been to such and such a college. I've done these things in my profession. I produce a little file. Buddha says, forget it. That's not true. That's some story. That's all gone. That's all past. I want to see the real you are now. Well, nobody knows who that is. Because we don't know ourselves except through listening to our echoes and consulting our memories. But then there's a real you, and that again leads us back to this question. Who are you? That is the real you. We shall see how they play with this exam by the koans to get you to come out of your shell and find out who you really are. that after your funeral, you will suddenly become somebody different, living somewhere else. They will say reincarnation means this, that if you sitting here now are really convinced that you're the same person who walked in at the door half an hour ago, you're being reincarnated. If you are liberated, you will understand that you're not. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. There is only the present. That's the only real you that there is. The Zen master Dogen put it in this way. He said, spring does not become the summer. First there is summer, and then there is spring. When you settle down in the train to read your newspaper and so on, you are not the same person who a little while ago left the platform. If you think you are linking your moments up in a chain. And this is what binds you to the wheel of birth and death. But when you know that every moment in which you are is the only moment, this comes into Zen. The master will say to somebody, "Now get up and walk across the room." And he comes back and he says, "Where are your footprints?" They've gone. So where are you? Who are you? When we are asked who we are, we usually give a kind of recitation of a history.